What if one of the most important numbers predicting your future health wasn't your weight or your age, but a number hidden inside your blood test? For decades, we've been told to watch our cholesterol. But what does that actually mean? How low should LDL cholesterol be? Can cholesterol ever be too low? What role does HDL really play? And if your goal isn't just avoiding heart attacks, but living longer and healthier, what should your cholesterol levels actually be? Today, we're diving deep into the science of cholesterol, cardiovascular risk, and longevity to uncover the targets that modern evidence suggests matter most. First, let's clear up one of nutrition's biggest misconceptions. Cholesterol is not inherently bad. In fact, you literally couldn't survive without it. It's a waxy, essential substance that your body uses for critical jobs. Think of it as a fundamental building block. Your body uses cholesterol to form the outer membrane of every single cell, providing structure and integrity. It's the precursor for producing vital hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and cortisol. Your body even uses sunlight to convert a form of cholesterol in your skin into vitamin D. And in the liver, it's used to make bile acids, which are absolutely essential for digesting fats from our food. Here's the crucial part. Your liver is a cholesterol factory, producing about 80% of what you need. The cholesterol you eat plays a smaller role. So if our bodies make it and need it, where does the problem come from? The problem isn't the cholesterol itself. It's where certain particles carrying that cholesterol end up. To understand that, you need to know how cholesterol gets around. Because it's a fat, it can't dissolve in our watery blood, so it needs a transport system. Imagine cholesterol is a passenger that needs a ride. The vehicles are particles called lipoproteins. They shuttle cholesterol through the bloodstream, and the two most famous of these vehicles are LDL and HDL. LDL stands for low-density lipoprotein. For years, it got a simple, memorable nickname, bad cholesterol. Think of LDL particles as a fleet of delivery trucks. Their main job is to transport cholesterol from the liver out to all the cells and tissues throughout your body that need it for those essential functions we just talked about. HDL, or high-density lipoprotein, was nicknamed good cholesterol. It acts more like a recycling and waste management service. HDL's job is to scavenge for excess cholesterol in the body, including from the walls of your arteries, and transport it back to the liver for disposal. For decades, the story was simple. Lower the bad LDL, raise the good HDL. But as we've learned more, that story has become far more sophisticated. It's not just about good guys and bad guys. It's about balance, particle numbers, and lifetime exposure. So let's focus on the delivery truck, LDL. When everything is in balance, LDL does its job perfectly. But when there are too many of these LDL particles circulating in the bloodstream, think of it as a massive traffic jam of delivery trucks. Problems can begin. Some of these excess LDL particles can start to seep into the inner lining of our arteries. Once inside the artery wall, they can become trapped and modified through a process called oxidation. Your immune system sees these trapped particles as foreign invaders and mounts a response. White blood cells rush to the scene to clean up the mess, but in doing so, they engulf the LDL and become what are called foam cells. This triggers a chronic, low-grade inflammatory response. Over years and decades, this process leads to the slow buildup of plaque, a mixture of cholesterol, cell debris, and calcium. The silent, gradual hardening and narrowing of the arteries is called atherosclerosis. It is the root cause of most heart attacks and strokes. When a plaque becomes unstable and ruptures, a blood clot can form on top of it, completely blocking blood flow to the heart or brain. Decades of overwhelming evidence from genetic studies, massive randomized clinical trials, and population data all point to one clear conclusion. The higher your LDL cholesterol is over your lifetime, the higher your risk for atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. This brings us to the most practical question. What should your LDL actually be? The answer, frustratingly, is it depends. The optimal level is not one size fits all. It's deeply personal. For a generally healthy adult with no other major risk factors, an LDL cholesterol below 100 milligrams per deciliter is often considered a good target. However, if you have factors that put you at a higher risk for a cardiovascular event, things like high blood pressure, diabetes, or a strong family history of heart disease, your doctor might recommend a more aggressive target, like an LDL below 70. And for people who have already had a heart attack or stroke, the guidelines are often even stricter, sometimes aiming for an LDL below 55. The key here is that your target is based on your total risk profile. Your age, your smoking status, and other health conditions all play a role in defining what optimal means for you. The goal is to match the intensity of the treatment to the magnitude of the risk. Now, what about HDL, the good cholesterol? For years, we thought the higher, the better. But the story here has also gotten more complex. We've observed that people with low HDL often have a higher risk of heart disease, but when scientists developed drugs specifically designed to raise HDL levels, they were surprised by the results. The trials largely failed to show that raising HDL actually reduced heart attacks or strokes. This has led to a major shift in thinking. Many experts now view HDL less as a direct target for treatment and more as a marker or a barometer of your overall metabolic health. Low HDL often travels with other problems like high triglycerides, insulin resistance, and inflammation. So while a healthy lifestyle that includes regular exercise and a good diet can raise HDL, the focus in medicine has decisively shifted toward aggressively lowering LDL. And the science continues to evolve. Some leading experts now argue that there are even better ways to measure our risk than the standard LDL cholesterol test. Two measures are gaining a lot of traction: non-HDL cholesterol and ApoB, or ApoB. Non-HDL cholesterol is simple. You just take your total cholesterol and subtract your HDL cholesterol. This number represents the cholesterol carried by all of the potentially plaque-forming particles. ApoB is even more precise. Apolipoprotein B is the primary protein found on each LDL particle and other troublemakers. So measuring ApoB gives you a direct count of the total number of these atherogenic particles. Why does that matter? Some people have LDL particles that are small and dense, carrying less cholesterol per particle. Their standard LDL test might look normal, but their ApoB could be very high, revealing a hidden risk. Think of it this way. It's the number of cars on the road that causes the traffic jam, not just how much cargo each car is carrying. The good news in all of this is that your numbers are not your destiny. Many of the factors that influence your cholesterol profile are within your control. Regular physical activity, a diet rich in fiber from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and maintaining a healthy weight are all powerful levers. Avoiding smoking and managing conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes are also critical. And when lifestyle changes aren't enough to reach your goals, medications can be incredibly effective. Statins, in particular, are one of the most well-studied and successful classes of drugs in modern medicine. For people at an elevated risk, they've been proven to dramatically reduce the chances of a heart attack or stroke. So, what should your cholesterol levels be for optimal health and longevity? There isn't a single magic number, but the evidence is clear. For most people, keeping LDL cholesterol and the number of ApoB particles low over the course of your life is a cornerstone of preventing cardiovascular disease. Ultimately, cholesterol isn't the enemy. Atherosclerosis is. The objective isn't to chase a perfect lab value on a single day. It's to reduce your cumulative, lifetime exposure to the particles that silently damage your arteries over decades. Longevity isn't built on fear. It's built on understanding. And understanding your complete cholesterol profile in conversation with your doctor is one of the most powerful investments you can make in your future health.